right, wrestling fans, this is Joe Kazana, and this is the Joe Kazana podcast. And my guest tonight, well, maybe to you folks out there, but to me, she's a friend of mine. She is the JCP women's champion, first two-time women's champion. And she's in a car, she's driving, she's multitasking. She is the one and only dream girl, Ellie. Ellie, welcome to my podcast.
Hello, thank you.
Hello, thank you. That's it.
I panicked.
What do you mean you panic? You don't panic.
I panic in these social situations.
Well, I'm not going to start over, so we're just going to have to go from here.
You know what? That sounds about right, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'll ground you Friday when I see you at the show.
You know how that works.
Well, again, like I said, thank you so much for being here. You are a two-time champion with JCP. As a matter of fact, I do believe you were the first JCP women's champion.
Yes, because I was the open weight champion.
That is right. We gave you an ultimatum: either dump the open weight and get the women's championship, or have nothing at all. Right?
Yeah, it was one or the other.
Well, look at it this way: the open weight championship is not even being used. So, you were the first and only
right now.
But anyway, you are the first two-time champion. I do know that the second championship that you won was back in December at our Christmas show here in Decatur, Tennessee, and you kind of. I think you kind of egged on, Riley Rocket into that match, and I think Kenzie Page kind of played a big part in that as well.
It worked to my benefit.
A lot of things worked to your benefit that night. That right hand that you used a couple of times. I
don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it had a virtue of never been done before. So
it was something.
It was definitely something, and we're proud to have you as our champion once again. We're going to back up a little bit because a lot of people out there, they watch you. They've seen you on AEW television. They've seen you on WWE television. They've seen you on my television. Who is Dream Girl Ellie? What possessed you to get into the wrestling business? What's the backstory behind all this?
Okay, so honestly, it sounds weird saying I had three brothers growing up, because I did, but now I have six brothers, so that's why I say I have three. But growing up, my brothers used to always watch wrestling. I don't know if you can still see me because the sun's in my way, but
that's okay.
They would always go to my dad's house and watch wrestling. So I basically just I had to go over there one day, and I started watching wrestling, and I was an angry little 13-year-old child. So I was just crapping on wrestling because I was angry at the world, and that was what I thought would be the best thing to do. And then I figured out it was actually kind of cool. Yeah. So then I was just like, I'm going to be a wrestler. So for 5 years, from the time I was 13 to 18, I kept telling people, I'm going to be a wrestler. I'm going to be a wrestler. And my dad basically was like, you're never going to do it. You're going to quit. You're just going to be too tough. And I did my first training 2 days after I turned 18. And I quit wrestling that day. The whole car ride home, because it was 45 minutes, I was like, I'm never doing this again. I was like, this is a terrible idea. And I made it home, and my dad was sitting there, and he was like, so did you quit? And I had already made up my mind, I'm done. I was like, this is a terrible idea. And I was like, no. So I have been a wrestler now for 5 years out of spite for not letting my dad be right.
Well, that's always good to me, right? Who trains you?
So I originally was trained in Florida by someone who we're not going to name because it didn't end very well. So then I was retrained by Blanco. Okay. And then Ricky Morton, Matt Seidel, Off of the Wild Samoan, and currently Doug Basham and Al Snow.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. That's a heck of a combination. When Blanco trains you, and I know Blanco well, he's a flip flopping flyer, and Alpha is just a big old bruiser. I've known him for a long time, so I mean, you've had a kind of a mixture of
A little bit
of
of everything.
Samoan, of Lucia, of just about everything.
Listen, if anyone complains that I hit him too hard, go up to Alpha and blame him. It's Alpha's fault.
Oh my gosh. Well, I tell you a funny little story, like you're talking about, you did it for pure spite, with your pop and everything. I can remember I broke in and my dad was part of the wrestling business. He worked with my grandfather, and my dad always would say, why do you want to do this? He said there's just, there's no point in you doing it. And this. So I'd been in the business probably about 2 years, and I'd finally gotten my break with Jim Crockett. And I was on television like that Saturday. So I was at a restaurant with he and my mom on Sunday. And a guy walks over to the table and he looks at me and he says, "Aren't you Joe Kazana? I saw you on TV last night."
Like, oh my gosh.
And from that point going forward, it was like my dad was 100% behind me. I mean, do you have a similar story? Was your dad behind you after you kind of sort of made a name for yourself?
It turned like he did it to kind of push me, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
basically, like ever since then, like he did support me and stuff. Like he thinks it's like the greatest thing I've ever done, and he's 110% for it now.
Well, that's good. I mean, you got to have that support, and for a long time, I've had that support. I give my family that support. I mean, I've got, of course, AJ and Jackson both, and Jackson's finishing up training now. As a matter of fact, he finishes in 2 weeks. So
nice.
Yeah, he'll be done. But I mean, as far as what you're doing, I know you're in Florida. So you're basically in the hotbed of NXT down there and AEW, and we've all seen you on these TV shows. When you first came in the business, like I said, I know, because I mean it happened to me, and I'm sure it happened with Blanco as well. When you came into the wrestling business, I mean, immediately you weren't anywhere what you are now, of course. But I mean, how was the reception when you came in? I mean, you're talking 5 years. I know if a female wrestler came in during my time, it was kind of like, it was you're not Bambi, you're not Candy Divine, you're not Wendy Richter. It kind of backed off of them a little bit. How was your reception within the independent scene? Because I'm sure that's how you broke in.
So I started when I was 18, and I'm currently 5'10", like 5'10". No, I'm not. I'm 5'3", like 110. But when I first started wrestling, I was like 180, so like I wasn't really in shape at all.
You were a big girl.
I was.
Wow.
Like
wow.
I was. High school me was not the healthiest version. But we obviously, like, I started working out and stuff, and like wrestling is completely different than just like gymming.
Sure.
But they kind of like just looked at me and they're like, "Yo, there's this random blonde chick who thinks she wants to be a wrestler," type thing. So they could, no one really kind of took it serious. And when I first started wrestling, it was like I was terrible. You know what I mean? And I had to get retrained and stuff. But in Florida, there's a bunch of wrestlers who just are girls who want to be in the spotlight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people are just like, they wanted to use wrestling to get into TV and movies and modeling and things like that. And like I think everyone kind of just thought like I just wanted to be a wrestler just for something else. And I was just like, nah guys, I just want to be a wrestler to be a wrestler. Like it's kind of what I want to do.
I can't believe you weighed 180 pounds. I mean, that just floors me.
I will show you a picture of me from high school on Friday.
That's amazing. God almighty.
There's the picture I found is I have purple hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a picture for sure. I will make sure to show you.
Yeah, please do. I promise I won't put it on the show. at
Yeah,
all.
I was like,
No, no, no,
no
no.
one has it. No one has access to it except
We're
for
gonna
me. I
leave
think
it.
it's
We're gonna leave the mystique of Dream Girl Ellie exactly the way it is right now.
please,
You know, I mean,
please.
because you definitely have that mystique behind you, and I know when you're here. I mean, when you first came in here, you were probably one of the most hated females, actually, probably one of the most hated wrestlers in this whole territory. And then all of a sudden, you come into Decatur back in December, and you're getting cheered completely out of the building. I mean, you're getting major pop for Dream Girl Ellie, and I'm thinking, what the hell is this? You know, it's like, wow. And I guess being kind of sort of, I guess what happened, you know, with Riley Rocket and joining up with Kenzie and Ella, you know, I guess in the back of your mind you're thinking, I can take all these girls, right? You know.
Oh yeah. I had high school bullies. That's all that was, honestly. It was just high school all over again, and I hated high school. So I was like, let me redo it this time. Let me come out on top. Um,
You
and that's
definitely
basically
did.
exactly what I did. Um,
We know what you did.
due to nothing.
It finally aired. Everybody has seen exactly what happened, and they
There
saw
was
how you beat
nothing.
them. So you know,
It was just
I
me.
enjoy both sides of you as far as babyface and or heel. You know, they both have a different dynamic. However, they're still both the same. You know,
Yeah.
you're kind of like, you know, you're not an anti-hero. You're more of the uh, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I guess is basically you don't change. You are the same Ellie, whether the crowd is booing you or whether the crowd's cheering you. You know, am I hitting
Yeah.
the am I in the ball field here?
Oh yeah. It's there's it's honestly not like a different. It's not like a whole new person. It's just a different mindset. I feel like
Right.
where like sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and whether it's illegal or not, it's it's up to the person's opinion on what they think is
It's up
illegal.
to the interpretation. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got you. You're being very vague with me. Yeah, I'm not that old yet, Ellie. But like I said, you know, you have been in a lot of circles that a lot of people have tried to get to and not made it. You've been in the business for 5 years. Believe me, I can surely sit here and sympathize with you as far as, you know, being being someplace quickly. You know, I did it.
Yeah.
You've done it. AJ's done it. I mean, a lot of these guys have done it. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, I'll turn on the TV and I see Virginia Ferry,
Who
you
dat?
know, and only you and I probably know who Virginia Ferry is, but I see Virginia Ferry on TV and I'm scratching my head and I'm thinking, man, wow, NXT, you know. Oh, by the
Oh
way,
yeah.
wrestling fans, I mean, this is Virginia Ferry. This is what WWE decided to name you.
It
Which I think
there's
I actually messaged you after I saw the match and I said, who the hell is Virginia Ferry? You know,
I don't know. I was asleep during that. Dream Riley was asleep. I don't know what you're talking about.
well, I'm going to tell you, you have been in some major companies. I mean, AEW, WWE, both. You know, I know that you're working really hard at trying to get. I'm sure with Impact and NWA and guys like that. But watching you on AEW television the last couple of matches, I told you you should have beat Jade Cargill right in the middle of the ring. You know,
I tried. I
you
tried.
know,
Okay.
she's a big woman. I mean, and she looks great.
Her shoe, and I know this because I had up close personal view. Is like a size 11.
Yeah,
Do
she's
you
a big girl.
do you listen? That's like my whole face and then some. And the
Yep.
reason I know that is because it was in my face and then some.
Yeah, I mean yeah, she towered over you pretty good. But I mean you gave
Yeah,
her a fight, you know, and
I tried.
it was fun to watch. But the match you had with Sky Blue, now that match, I really, you know, from a fan's point of view, I thought you were gonna take that thing. I really did, especially when you hit the drop kick on the ropes.
Me too. Me too. Listen, I think that was I think I've thrown that was probably the hardest I've ever thrown that drop kick too. like there was a little extra force behind that one.
It
um,
looked pretty stout, that's for sure.
it was
Um,
there for sure. Yeah, everyone thought I my goal is to just, not break things, but if it happens, it happens sometimes. You know what I mean? No, but
yeah,
yeah,
it
I that
happened.
was probably the hardest one I've ever thrown, and I was like, "Oh, that was nice." I
Like
even was like, after I did it, I was like, "Nice."
I was gonna say, like I said, from a fan's perspective, I mean, I'm sitting here watching it like a fan. I'm saying, you know what? I said, she's taking this whole match.
Yeah,
It's not so much a give and take, but it's more of a I'm going to kick your ass,
that
and
was
I'm
my
going to make
plan.
you like it.
Oh yeah, that was my plan. The only plan I had going in there was like, you know what? Let me just beat her up and see what happens.
Well, I mean, you've had that opportunity, and win, lose or draw, it doesn't matter. I mean, you were there, you were being seen by the powers that be. I mean, the Tony
Oh
Khans
yeah,
of the world, and I in the back of their minds, they got to be thinking, hey, man, we need to sign this girl. I
I
mean,
hope that's in
she
the
can
back of their
go.
minds.
You know,
I'm hoping.
why wouldn't it be? I mean,
Yeah,
it's like this girl can work with us. And I think the same way for WWE. I just a lot of people carve their own paths. And
yeah,
my path, for example, was always NWA and WCW. I worked for the WWF, but it wasn't fun. It really wasn't.
yeah,
I watch you on NXT and then I watch you on AEW. AEW, whether it doesn't, Jade Cargill or Sky Blue, it didn't matter. You look like you were having a good time,
yeah,
and you look like you belonged. If that makes sense,
yeah,
with WWE, you know, I, you got. I think that their mindset is more geared towards, well, if you just graduated college and you were a cheerleader or a gymnast, man, we're going to sign you tomorrow.
yeah.
But you're a professional wrestler, so you're definitely working your way into the right companies anyway. I mean, like you said, 5 years in the business is what you've done so far. Other than Sky Blue or Jade Cargill, give me a couple of names of the biggest names that you've been in the ring with, and how you fared against them.
Um, Thunder Rosa, I wrestled her twice. One of them was for AEW. One of them was for Imperial
Mm-hmm.
in Bristol, Tennessee. The Imperial one, we went 35 minutes, um, and we just beat the crap out of each other the whole time, and it was great. Go, child, go, go. Sorry.
Everybody, you're getting a look in Dream Girl Ellie's house. She's letting her
Um,
dogs out, and
um,
and believe
so
it or not, folks, this is the way she is when she's at the show. So you got to call her down every now and then. So
she gets distracted easily. No,
yeah, that's for
um,
sure. I can be
um,
talking to you about something, you turn around and it's like, "What'd you say?"
oh, if I will look you dead in the face, you will have words coming out of your mouth, and I'll stop you halfway through. Go, I don't know what you just said.
Exactly.
I've
I've been
done
there,
that a
done that with you.
million times. Yeah, I'd be like, "What did?" I was like, "I looked at you. I know words came out. I didn't listen to any of it."
Now, do you
Like,
remember what you were talking about with Thunder Rosa?
I do
Well,
kind
let's
of.
let's let, let's get back into that then. Come on.
So basically, we just beat the shit out of each other for 35 minutes, and I lost. But we don't talk about that part. Um, that was probably one of my like most favorite matches I've had. Because it was kind of like a test, you know what I mean, of like
Right.
what I was able to do in the ring and stuff. Um, I've done. Oh gosh, who on the indies have I wrestled? I don't know. Everyone I've wrestled is AEW right now is coming to my brain. Um,
Right. Right.
but I wrestled Penelope Ford in AEW, Diamante and Evilise in AEW. Um, I've wrestled Anna Jay in AEW. Thunder Rosa. There's been a couple.
Yeah.
I know I'm missing some, but and like they've all been fun. Um, I know I wrestled Sky Blue outside of AEW. I wrestled her. She actually beat me for my title in Chicago one
Meh,
time.
meh.
I'm trying to think who else. Who I like how this is a wrestling podcast and I'm blanking on everything wrestling related I've ever done.
Well, I mean, you've wrestled. I mean, quite a few of these named women out there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: how do you think that you would fare against the NWA Women's Champion Camille?
Other than her being freakishly tall and scary, I beat her ass.
Oh, Ellie, I'm just
I'm
going to shake my head on this one. I think that being a Spitfire like you are, I think that you'd give Camille problems. But in
that's the
my
plan.
opinion, I think Camille's probably on par with Charlotte Flair. I mean, as far as
Oh yeah, she's
talent and the
definitely like
skill.
one of the best female wrestlers like in the industry right now. I just I just did a ladies night out show with her, and she just murdered everybody she wrestled. It was great. I was great. It was happy. I was happy I wasn't in there. But if it was me, she wouldn't have done that to me. Just saying.
but yeah, well, I mean, all kidding aside, I think that a match with you and Camille would be a lot of fun to watch. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
She, like I said, she is probably, like I said, she's on par with a Charlotte Flair in my
Oh
opinion,
yeah.
and I think that she would give Charlotte a run for her money,
Oh yeah.
size wise, skill wise. I
Yeah,
mean,
technique
again,
and everything.
exactly. I mean, I know Charlotte's been champion 14 different times, but Camille's been champion one time, and you're looking at over
For
600 days. You
I
know,
was about to say, yeah, she's been there for a while as champion, which I honestly think it's like a what is it, quality over quantity type of thing.
agreed,
And like
agreed,
you can be a 14-time champions, but that also means you've lost 13 times.
exactly,
Like she's been
exactly. And
champion for how many years? Because it's technically,
well, I mean, 600 plus days, you're looking at 2 years easily.
I must say at least 2
Yeah.
years, almost more. So like she's literally been basically undefeated for that long. Like she hasn't lost her title for that long.
Mm-mm.
So I personally think when you have longer title reigns, it makes you better than being a multi-time
Oh, I
champion.
agree. And being a champion for any length of time, you learn how to win. You
Oh yeah.
know, by hook or by crook. You know, whether you're a fan favorite or not, if you're the champion, and you want to hold your title, you're going to
You do
do it
whatever
by
you
all means
take. Yep.
necessary.
Oh yeah.
But I like I said, I think that at this point, I think she's on par with the Charlotte Flair. Let me just give you the opposite side of the coin. How about somebody like Max the Impaler?
Other than her
And then
being
you got to worry about Jim.
terrifying.
You got to worry about Jim on the outside as well. So,
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, Max she is one bad gal.
Yeah, she's terrifying. See, maybe I need someone on the outside for me.
Yeah,
I'll
not
find
me.
someone.
Not me.
No, it's your
No,
time
no,
to
no.
shine.
Max scares me. But
Oh man.
again, in all seriousness, I've been watching some of the stuff you're doing with OVW, and I know Al Snow's doing a great job up there. I've known Al a long time. I think the world of him, and he really has done some good stuff up there since he took it over from Danny Davis. And
Oh,
and I think OVW is a promotion to watch. But I watched your match last week, and I can't remember the girl's name that you were working with.
yeah. Shalante.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I remember, and I messaged you after I watched it, and I asked you. I said, "Just what the hell am I looking at?" And you messaged back. You said, "What are you talking about?" And I told you, and you proceeded to tell me about it. You guys had a major Pier 6 brawl
Yeah.
that it took literally 10 people to break it up.
I I have this new. I'm gonna swear real quickly, Joe, and I'll apologize now. I have this new thing for 2023. It's called "Fuck Around and Find Out," and she found out. Um, I don't play games in the ring, and she wanted to play games. So I'll be there tomorrow,
Yeah.
and she'll be
And
there
I'm sure
tomorrow,
she will be too.
and we'll see what happens because the ball's in
Yeah.
her court. We'll just see what happens.
I have never, and I've known you for a long time, and I have never seen you, one, that pissed off, two, that physical with anybody. I mean, anybody. And it's like I saw her come at you the very last time when she came at you. You hit her with a left hook, as she was coming at you with a fist, and you put her
Oh yeah,
flat on her rear end. And I thought, holy smokes, look at
yeah.
this. I mean, I just shook my head. And I ran it back, and I watched it again, and I ran it back, and I watched it again, and I said, God Almighty! I said, she put this girl flat on her back with one shot,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I said, that's my champion. So
It's the tiny anger issues in me. No, I don't play games, and
no,
that's what it
obviously
was.
you don't. That right there made a believer out of me real quick. I mean, I
Yep.
always knew that you like to, I know you like to play the mind games, in the ring with your opponent. I've seen it a million times, but to see what I saw last week on OVW television, and it was like, oh my God! I said, this girl's taking it to another level, and it's a level I never expected to see out of you. I mean, you're 110 pounds, if that, and
Yeah.
you just absolutely put that girl down with one punch. So hats off to you for that. Uh, and again, like I said, I think I called Doc and I said, "That's our champion. Look at this." But I was real proud to
Right.
see it. But I mean, are you wrestling her tomorrow night?
No. Um, I don't think we're allowed in the same vicinity right now.
Well, do you blame you? I mean, whoever the commissioner is up there, you can't blame them.
Yeah. Al Al did not let us. Al basically had me separated from everybody afterwards.
I would think so.
For some reason that I
Well,
don't understand why. Um,
it's the
no,
first time in history that you've ever had a split women's locker room. So
yeah.
you
It was
probably had your own.
it was Al's office. He was like, "You're sitting here. You cannot leave. You are stuck here." Um, so I'm gonna walk in tomorrow, and I'm gonna if we're gonna play games, we're gonna play games.
Yeah.
But well, I guess we'll see. I don't know. It's whatever
Well,
she wants
do
to
me a
do.
favor. You're coming in here to Petros on Friday. Don't come in here beat up because
I
you
won't.
have, you have got Friday this coming Friday, and I know that this podcast isn't going to air till next week. So I'm just no spoilers for this at all. But you're coming in here against the debuting Freya the Slayer. And I know that you've run into her in OVW and probably in
Oh yeah.
100 other places out there, but she's debuting here. And this girl doesn't play games either. And she is probably what, 6', 6'1",
Yeah.
and she's like you. She's no nonsense. She doesn't play games. I mean, you're defending your championship against her, and she could literally come in here, the first time out and beat you, especially if you come in here beat up Friday, after
So
tomorrow night.
she's actually friends with Shalance. They did a little team together. It's
Uh-huh.
cute. So I'm gonna just use that. I got anger issues, bro. I'll use them if I got to.
Oh Lord.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah. I mean, do you have anybody that you can count on up there? I mean, do we
Myself.
need to send somebody up there?
No, I got it. I had it on Thursday until the officials got in the way. I had things under control.
Well, I must
Uh,
say that yeah, I saw you take some pretty hard shots too, but then, like I said, yeah, you pretty much had things under control. The left hook, I don't want to be in front of it. Uh,
yeah,
it's like Jesus Christ, I couldn't believe it. Uh,
there was something special. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, again, though, with Freya coming in here this week, and knowing how big and how bad and how powerful she is, and knowing she is that other, what would you say her name was, Elantra or whatever her name is?
Shalante.
Oh yeah, Anyway, that's like trying to pronounce Pollo Del Mar. And I love Pollo to death, but the first time that she was on my podcast, I called her Polo, and she said, "Papa Joe," you know. But she's coming in here Friday, and you got to think though in the back of your mind that these two may jump you Thursday night.
Listen, the thing with Freya, if you've been watching OVW, is she's never priorities straight right now. If you see her, she's sneaking around with the referee. So her priorities are not where they need to be in wrestling. So I don't think she's gonna try and jump me on Thursday. But the thing about working with someone at another place is knowing all their weaknesses. And she's 6 foot until she's not 6 foot.
You got a good point. Everybody's your size when they're on those ropes for that drop kick.
Everybody can go a little bit shorter if needed.
Yeah, I can definitely see exactly where you're coming from. And I guess another advantage you have is, hey, you're the champion. And you don't have to beat her. She has to beat you.
Exactly. I just gotta survive. But I've been doing that for a while now, so it's working.
Whatever you're doing with us anyway has been working. I mean, again, you're the first 2-time champion. And I've watched your career. I guess the first time you came in here and worked with us was probably what, 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And I've been watching you and bringing you in ever since. And I know that with Level X, the international superstars, you and Blanco, Loco, and Axton Ray, you guys are a formidable trios, team as well. And I've seen that firsthand too. What if any plans do you have in the near future of going back overseas or I know that you were in England last year. I think it was it last year?
Yeah, it was last April.
Yeah. And you were there last year, you and Blanco and Axton, and you had a really successful tour. All three of you did. Are there any plans of going back anytime soon?
Right now, without giving away too much, Japan is in the works.
Good.
England going back is in the works, and then going back to Canada is also in the works.
Very good. Very good.
I don't know if I want to say England or the UK. I guess the UK would be like the going across the pond, let's say, because different countries would be involved.
Well, on that note, you do know that we are also partnered with a promotion in the UK, and they actually have a JCP United Kingdom Championship over there.
Oh,
if you get there, you can't win that. They won't let you wrestle the men. If you get over there, maybe Blanco can bring it home with him.
Okay.
That would be awful sweet if we could get something like that done. And we could take their UK title named after our promotion here and bring it home. That would be fun.
Bring it here.
I'll
work something out. We got
it. Or either that, or just if you can get to a locker room over there where that guy is, just take the belt and bring it back.
That's what I was gonna. I'm just gonna steal and run.
Yeah, we could do that. Matter of fact, I'm actually going to have the owner of HCW on here probably next week, and I'll ask him about that. We've been talking about getting a contingent up and going over, and right now you're our women's champion, so you'd be in the forefront of coach class, by the way.
Woo!
Not first class. We can't do that. I'll put you in the middle. We'll put the international superstars on one row together.
That works. As long as I'm not literally in the middle seat again, we're good.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I have thoroughly enjoyed watching your work over the last few years. Enjoyed getting to know you a little better, and it's been a real pleasure having you in here at JCP, and hopefully you've got a long relationship with us. And I know you're going to be here Friday, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys up in Petros, Tennessee. And again, like I said, this is going to air next week, so these people think, what are these dummies talking about? But you are defending against Freya, and I wish you all the luck in that match.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to plug other than social media? We'll plug that in just a minute.
Just go to this. Well, I guess I can't tell them to go to the show because technically it was the week before.
Yeah.
Whatever the next show is, be there.
Yeah. Oh, the next show. Oh, I guess that'll be probably May.
Be there.
May, yeah.
I'll left hooks for everybody.
Yeah, we've got a show. I don't have a date yet because we're having to go in between SmackDown and this show and all that crap. But plug your social media.
All right. Twitter and Instagram is This Is Ellie with underscores in between this and is. And we also have the International Superstars Facebook page, the Dream Girl Ellie Facebook page, the Level X Facebook page, and then Axton and Blanco have their own Facebook pages if you would like to see them. I think that's it.
You sure?
Have a Pro Wrestling Tees.
Do what?
We have a Pro Wrestling Tees under I think it's under the International Superstars. I know we have a link tree in our bios for like no matter what social media we have, so it's all there. If you find one of them, you'll be able to find all of them.
Good.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you got pictures and T-shirts and all kinds of good things.
Oh, I got all the merch. Yeah. You can come to a show and get merch, or you can message me on any of the social media, and I can mail it to you. This is airing next week, technically, which would be the week it's airing. Which means my birthday will have passed, but you can still send me presents because I like presents.
Oh God, you're terrible.
My birthday
is your birthday? So... Is it this week or next week?
Yeah, it's Sunday. It's the 19th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a little birthday weekend. So I'm
what are you going to be like? Weekend. What, 17, 18 years old or what? I mean,
I'm going to be officially old. I'm going to be 24.
Oh my God, you are a mere pup. Well, anyway, Ellie, it was so good having you on the show. And we look forward to seeing you in a couple of days. I mean, the people that watch us next week again is going to say, "What are these people talking about?" But we'll see you in a couple of days.
In the future of the past.
Hey, I'm going to tell you now, and I'm going to tell you in front of everybody: don't be late.
I won't be. I can't control Blanco.
Well, I understand that, and I get that, but just tell Blanco not to be late.
I'll tell him call time's an hour earlier than it really is, so we're
tell him we're on Central Time.
I got you.
or that European time or whatever. Right. But in any case, you know what, Ellie, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you in a couple of days. And again, you know, I hope the fans out there get on your social medias, just hound you for pictures and all kinds of good stuff. And for me, for Ellie, I want to thank you guys for being here on the Joe Kazana Promotions podcast. We will see you next week.
Bye.